For years, Dwight Howard has been considered the gold standard for centers in the NBA. His incredible power and athletic ability allowed him to roam the paint and be a one-man wrecking crew defensively. On offense, he had limitations, but the right coach in Stan Van Gundy maximized his potential by rolling him to the hoop, where his quickness would destroy opposing centers. Throw in post-ups after a fast rim run, and these were the kind of possessions down low he got most of the time, and his rankings during those years showed it. Let's flash to last year, where a mercurial center playing in Sacramento started showing real signs of domination himself. Demarcus Cousins posted all-star level numbers across the board, but matched that with a temper that caused issues with teammates and technicals with referees. With the Kings' surprisingly good start, it is now time to look at these two players head-to-head and find out which player helps his team more. The post-up is a great place to start, and looking at Dwight Howard's last 7 years, we see a disturbing trend, as he went from pretty good for the first 4 years to pretty bad the last 3. Having major back surgery certainly affects what he can and can't do physically, but when's the last time you saw Dwight face up and make a bank shot like this? The Rockets rarely involve him in the pick and roll to post up, and most of his touches down low are straight isolations, where the defense is in good position to defend. Compare that to Cousins' numbers in the post, and you see a player who's got much more skill with the ball and the ability to finish. While the field goal percentages aren't that much different, it's the turnover percentage that really separates them. Turnovers in the post are some of the worst kind you can make, since often it leads to fast breaks on the other end, and this year, Dwight is turning it over almost twice as much as Demarcus. Cousins loves the left block and prefers to turn over his right shoulder towards the baseline. Also of note is that Cousins starts out high before moving to the low post, often getting a screen to establish good post-up position. Dwight's numbers also indicate a preference for the left block right shoulder combo, but the Rockets generally don't get him moving beforehand, preferring stagnant post-ups that make it difficult, and while the spin is impressive, it's not in the same caliber of explosiveness as Cousins. Setting ball screens is a much bigger part of Cousins' game than it is Dwight's, which is a bit strange since Dwight simply destroys opponents historically in this category. That said, Dwight simply cannot do what Cousins can when he gets the ball on the pick and pop, whether it's driving or spotting up on the perimeter. Dwight also doesn't have the same touch as Boogie near the basket when contact is made. And looking at offensive rebounding and putbacks, we see Dwight Howard with a slight advantage in ranking, but here's where a key distinction takes place: free throw shooting. Because Dwight is such a poor free throw shooter, teams can erase the benefit of his second chance opportunities by simply fouling him. Last year, he was fouled on 29% of his offensive rebounds, which is a staggering amount. Cousins, meanwhile, is slowly developing a relentless style where he'll crash from the perimeter or fight down low and finish with excellent touch. As further proof, Kirk Goldsberry pointed out over at Grantland that Cousins led the NBA last year in getting rebounds of your own miss. Arturo Galletti of Box Score Geeks tells us that Cousins is making 4.5 more free throws per game, which translates over the entire season to 8.2 wins per year. Teams simply cannot foul Cousins on putbacks or late in the fourth quarter of close games like they do to Dwight Howard, and this advantage is so significant it's hard to quantify just how much this hurts the Rockets. Defensively, Dwight is second in the league in defensive rating, while Cousins is 19th, fourth among centers. Dwight Howard is holding opponents to 39.5% field goal percentage at the rim, good for 6th in the league and second among centers, while Demarcus Cousins is right behind him at 7th. Dwight still patrols the paint and blocks shots at an elite volume, while Cousins has improved in his ability to time his help, but is still way behind in this category. And Dwight's effect on the #1 rated defense is profound, while Demarcus anchors the 14th rated defense, which is a step up from last year's 23rd ranking. So lots of things to discuss when we're talking about these two centers. There are pros and cons to both of their games. What, ultimately, is most important when judging which of these two centers is better? Can you overlook Dwight's offensive issues because his defense is stellar? Does Cousins' ball handling and scoring ability overcome any of his defensive shortcomings? To me, the free throw shooting becomes too much to overcome for Dwight, and I think Demarcus Cousins has caught up to Dwight, and if he improves his numbers only slightly this year, he will have surpassed him and into the conversation as best center in the NBA.